Good morning. Welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Tuesday, June 15, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S., 4:30 p.m. in London. In Mexico City, it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. Some news that just came over the wires. U.S. General David Petraeus, who's the commander of the American Central Military Command, during a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing on Capitol Hill, apparently passed out. He slumped over on the witness table, and his head hit the table, and he apparently was rendered unconscious. The hearing, of course, stopped because they were asking him a question he couldn't very well answer, and then he was escorted from the room, sort of under his own power. And the chairman of the committee, Carl Levin from Michigan, is now reporting that the general is fine. So we hope so. Well, now to our main news. Just about 2 hours ago, the Swiss Parliament approved a treaty with the U.S. that will finally hand thousands of files of suspected tax cheats to the IRS. There are a couple of obstacles that could remain. We'll talk about them in a second. The American government hopes that the agreement will eventually end UBS's 3-year battle that culminated in revelations that the bank had for years helped American citizens hide millions of dollars in offshore accounts. The Swiss have agreed to divulge the names of 4,400 UBS clients suspected of tax evasion. Lawmakers in Switzerland's lower house voted 81 to 61 in favor of the government-backed deal. This was the same deal that was blocked last week by forces portraying the proposal as a nail in the coffin for Swiss banking secrecy. One negative, though, from this morning's vote is that a clause was put into the bill saying that it must be approved by the Swiss public in a referendum before it finally becomes law. Switzerland has a bicameral legislature. The upper house has yet to approve the referendum. It has until Friday to deliberate. If it goes to a referendum, that would make the handing over of the names by the late August deadline impossible, because the national referendum could not occur until November at the earliest. UBS is under big pressure from the American tax authorities. They've already paid a $780 million penalty. Washington does have the option of beginning a crippling civil investigation of the bank just at the time when it's recovering from the subprime crisis. If the upper house of the Swiss Parliament institutes the referendum, I'd be buying UBS stock short. Well, tonight's the night in Washington. The president is going to be speaking on national television in his first Oval Office address. His chief spokesman, Robert Gibbs, is saying that the president is poised to seize the handling of damage claims from BP if necessary. The president is pictured here. He was down in Pensacola, Florida, and the Gulf Coast yesterday and this morning. Robert Gibbs appeared on the morning TV shows today. He's saying that the aim of taking the claims handling from BP would be to make individuals and businesses whole. The claims issue is among several that the president will address directly from his Oval Office 8 p.m. speech. He's also ready to outline a comprehensive response and recovery program, and he's set to assure not only the people in the Gulf but also the country as well that the administration will see to it that America surmounts this crisis. On the matter of the disputed damage payments, Robert Gibbs said we have to get an independent claims process. I think everyone agrees we have to get BP out of the claims process. He noted in one interview that the president has the legal authority to make the claims process independent. Interestingly enough, J.P. Morgan is saying that the huge spill could actually end up adding a bit of growth to the American economy. Underlining that the gross domestic product measures are often not a good guide to an economy's well-being, J.P. Morgan said in a research note, its best guess is that the impact on the American economy of the whole Gulf Coast spill would only be minimal. According to Michael Ferroli, the chief U.S. economist, quote, the spill clearly implies a lot of economic hardship in some locations, especially the magnitude in some of the Gulf locations. However, the magnitude of these setbacks is dwarfed by the scale of the U.S. macroeconomy. He said cleaning up the spill will likely be enough to offset any negative impacts. The bank cites the estimates of 4,000 unemployed people who have been hired for cleanup efforts, which some reports have said could be worth between $3 and $6 billion. Feroli said if this is realized, it would likely mean a near to medium-term boost to activity that could offset the negative drags. Well, south of the border, yesterday was a deadly day for law enforcement. Drug gunmen killed 15 federal police officers in Mexico in separate attacks. 12 officers died in an ambush in the western state of Michoacan, while assailants killed 3 more officers in a northern border state near Chihuahua. According to the Mexican president, if we remain with our arms crossed, we will remain in the hands of organized crime and will live always in fear. He blamed Mexico's violence on the United States' voracious appetite for illegal drugs. In Michoacan, the police were riding in 4 pickup trucks when they came under fire in the city of Zitucoro. 10 officers died immediately on the spot and 2 more were on their way to the hospital. The brutal drug gang violence has swept the state of Michoacan, which is known to many Westerners as the home of the monarch butterfly sanctuary. It's also the stronghold of La Familia, a cartel known for beheading its rivals and making bold attacks on government security forces. The violence in Kyrgyzstan is only getting worse. It's now engulfed the southern part of the country and could spread throughout the rest of the country. The latest tallies show 175 people have been killed, 1,800 injured in 5 days of inter-ethnic violence between Kyrgyz and Uzbeks. The International Committee of the Red Cross say that far more people may have died in the fighting. In Spain, the U.S. aluminum producer Alcoa has temporarily stopped production at its big 93,000 metric ton a year Aviles smelter in Spain. This is after severe flooding in the region. Alcoa declared force majeure at the plant. This impacts shipments and deliveries from the smelter. Alcoa said the smelter had been operating at capacity before the flooding. The American stock market is up about 102 points now. There's been a little bit of negative news. Some of the building confidence numbers dropped precipitously. Best Buy, the electronics retail outlet, said that the quarter was not up to expectations. We'll go to a word from our sponsors.
And now, Design for Peace.